All right, guys, we are back and live. The next episode of The Farthest Thunder, an alien RPG actual play here on Looking for Mom. And I am going to dive right in because, again, it's going to be depending on the choices our heroes make, it will either end very poorly or very interestingly. We'll see how it works. When we last left off, you were on a planet that was home to Dillon Colony, which was abandoned many years ago, and the survivors or a band of survivors from that colony have congregated here in this cliff dwellers camp, which is the set of mesas, six of them that rise hundreds of meters above the jungle floor. This is a stinking hot planet, very humid, 40 degrees. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking Celsius. I don't know what that is for you American folks. Um, and humid. It is sweltering. You landed here, make contact with the locals, hopefully in and out, grab some supplies, do some trading, and get out of here before the mothership arrives. But things kind of didn't go as you had planned. After some interesting negotiations and some dialogue, you ended up killing one of the locals. Uh, um, Kind of wondering who the bad guys here are. um, um, Not getting your supplies, and in fact, threatening them with a bioweapon, and of course, killing one of them. Um, you did find out that you weren't the only ones that arrived on this planet. There was another ship that crashed just a day or two earlier before you, and there's one sole survivor on there, and he was a so-called reformed member of the cult called the Children of the Two Divines. Uh, he was frantic. He was panicked. He was afraid that his former master would come find him. And indeed, she did. You realized that he had some sort of radio transceiver or receiver stuck in his skull and was receiving strange voices in his head. And he could tell that she was arriving. And there's also his crashed ship, which has a transponder which guided his former master here. She has landed. This is still the same day that you arrived. This is still day one. But nearing the end of it, it is into the evening now. They have landed in their Heliades, I don't know how you call it, Heliades class SEV, an older model, not one that's capable of much faster than light travel, but good enough to putt around the far spinward colonies. And they have arrived here in search, apparently, of their lost flock. When they uh, disembark from the ship, after much warnings from Chikonde, who is the refugee, the sole survivor of the crash ship, warning you of her that she will destroy you all. Where you have encountered the children of the two divines before or have heard of them, they are, in fact, cultists who worship alien xenomorphs, leaving them to be perfected. The next stage of human evolution, one that only the blessed and worthy can achieve. When they arrive, when their arrival is imminent, Chikonde goes crazy and leaps to his suicide, plummeting down 200 meters to the jungle floor. Soon afterwards, you hear the ferals, who you know occupy the jungle floor, descend upon him because you know that these ferals are cannibals. Former colony members of Dillon Colony that have separated from those who live on these cliffs, which, by the way, was a former Weyland-Yutani colony. And Aiko, you have a little bit of a groupie with you, Yen Yamada, whose parents were high-ranking officials with Weyland-Yutani. and she kind of inherited that title, I suppose. Um, there is Vidan, the de facto kind of spokesperson for the elders of this colony. There is Leonard Espera, a working man's kind of leader, representing the people of this colony that farm, that hunt, that build, those who keep this place running and fed. And there is Zuma Tibandi, who at first was not trusting of you, but after having spoken with a few of you, realized that perhaps you were not here to destroy them, but could in fact help them. And she placed her trust in you tentatively, so long as you could prove yourself. Um, those are the five. I feel I'm missing an elder here. Yen, Leonard, Zuma, Idan. Oh, that's five of them. Okay. So when Mother Michaela, Chikante's former master or mistress, lands in her beautiful ship, which by the way has three light railguns and looks like some sort of missile launchers, um, she is threatened that you not leave this planet's surface. Otherwise, she will blow your ship up. Aboard your ship, by the way, while you're outside here killing people, is your Captain Electo Throop and Captain Lin Shu Ying. But here you are now in the center islet, Misa. Vidan has crossed this rope bridge to talk to Mother Michaela and her cultists, 8 of them that have disembarked from the ship. And Otmar, you made the very acute observation that this ship can carry at least 18 crew members, not including additional passengers. So there are very likely more individuals on this ship. And in fact, you can see one of the railguns kind of swivel and turn in your direction, another one swivel and turn towards the wicket, another one swivel and turn towards the roundhouse. So they've kind of got you in their crosshairs as they disembark. Mother Michaela, as she approaches, you notice immediately something is off about her. She stands about 6 feet tall, very tall, slender. Her skin is a pale, almost translucent blue. Her head just a little larger than normal, slightly egg shaped and distended in the back. Her arms are also noticeably longer than normal and quite bulky. You have seen this kind of look before in a former colleague of yours, Gideon's best friend, Alex Turner, the geologist from Baxter's Reach. But most disconcerting of this arrival group is your good old friend Frank, who you last saw while you fled frantically from Baxter's Reach. And that's where we'll start tonight. Vidan has just crossed the bridge to parley with Mother Michaela. Is there anything you would like to do at this time? You stand there and you watch in
Watch.
silence as
Watch in
Vidan
awe.
as Vidan approaches, and he has his hands up and extended, and you can hear him call out, "Welcome, welcome to the new villain colony. We are always happy to receive guests, especially those from the stars. You must have had a long journey. Please let us welcome you. Perhaps have a drink and we can talk about what your needs are and what brings you here." Mother Michaela, her eyes are completely black. There's no pupil, it's just black. As she looks at him, you can't quite tell if he's looking at him or through him. There's kind of this distant gaze of these dark eyes. And she says in almost a very dreamy voice, "What a quaint village. Thank you for your greeting. Of course, I would love to find out more about you and the people who dwell here, and in particular, those who might have arrived here before us. Entire time, as those two are talking, Frank is ignoring him completely and is staring directly at the rest of you. Particularly, who has he seen here before? Echo, you are hiding behind a building.
I'm basically standing next to wherever Otmar is.
Okay. You're standing out in the open? I'm gonna unpause the game here so you can move around a bit if you like. Gideon, where are you standing?
I think he's probably standing further back to the group. He's not hiding per se, but he's definitely starting to sneak over to where there's a bit more cover.
Okay.
Mags is
can-
definitely taking cover behind a building because she's not well.
Otmar is watching what's going on, so he's not trying to stand, somewhere super obvious, but he's not hiding either. Trying to look like a scruffy local, to some degree.
I think Seth is going to be hiding behind that little house, kind of peeking out every now and again, up to the right of Otmar.
You hear Mother Michaela and Vidan. They continue the conversation, but they lower their voices now, and they are standing in front of each other. And at this distance, if you want to try and hear them, I'll allow you to make an observation check.
Oh,
Give it a shot.
yeah, I forgot. Well, if I survive this session, I want to add some skills to my character.
All right. Gideon, you're already into panic. Okay. So those of you who succeeded, Gideon, I don't think you have anything in your hands right now, do you? No.
I don't think so, no.
So I'll just and you're already hiding. I'm just going to say you're a little nervous. You got the sweaty palms, and you can feel that strange, unsettling feeling in the pit of your stomach. Oh, panic is over.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what happened, but okay.
I'm not quite sure what happened there either. Right, magic.
I'll take it. I won't question
So
it.
those of you who did succeed, you hear Mother Michaela and Vidan talking, and Michaela asking specifically about the ship that crashed here the day before, whose transponder signal they have tracked to this location. They found the remnants in a flyover before arriving here. They saw the original Dillon colony, now abandoned. It looked like there were no survivors from the air. They couldn't land anywhere because there's nowhere for them to land. So they arrived here. And she's asking Vidan, where is my flock? And Vidan says, there were no survivors. And the one that we did find, unfortunately, he didn't make it either. And you can just see her stand there in silence, her hands folded in front of her as she stares at him. A slight smile starts to cross her lips. Very well, then. I shall return to my ship and deliberate my next course of action. In the meantime, perhaps your colony would show us a sign of hospitality and good faith. If what you say is true and there were no survivors of that unfortunate crash, perhaps you would be so good as to recover what remains of them. along with the cargo of that ship, for it is the property of the children of the two divines. I would very much like to recover them. Idan says, "Of course, that is a most reasonable offer. In fact," he looks over his shoulder at you guys, just kind of milling about. "We had some volunteers here, the ones that came aboard the ship that you see parked beside yours. They were actually volunteering to help us as well." And Mother Michaela, "Oh, is that so?" You can see Frank lean in to Mother Michaela and whisper some words into her ear. Another smile crosses her face. "Oh, how interesting." Brother Frank will accompany them, along with 3 of my devotees. And Vidyan says, "Oh." He looks at Frank, who kind of realizes that he looks a little different for the first time. He's kind of, "Oh, okay. Of course. It is your ship after all, and we would do our very best to help you as much as we can. Just let me give me a moment, and I'll confer with the other elders and our other guests." Uh, Mother Michaela says, "Very well then. When you're ready, please come find me." And Idan hastily, quite quickly, not trying to run, but walking very quickly, makes his way back to the bridge swinging wildly as he kind of scampers across, and you can see the others retreat back into their ship. And he approaches you guys and says, "Well, she seems pleasant enough. She's mostly interested in recovering uh, any artifacts remaining on the crashed ship, which is a completely reasonable request, seeing as it did belong to her organization in the first place. I did mention that you had volunteered to help in that effort, and she has offered to supplement your numbers with her own crew." You seem unsure.
That's mighty kind, but I don't know that we got enough room in our ship for extra passengers.
Oh, oh, but you can't fly there anyway. It's there's nowhere to land. You would have to get there on foot.
Oh, but we were going to land near the old colony.
Oh, I see. And make your way back. Okay. Um, well, we can certainly negotiate that with Mother Michaela. He kind of looks over his shoulder back at the ship and says, "Listen, um, despite the fact that your crew has killed a member of my community, I I feel like I can still trust you more than her crew. The religious zealot type never really made me feel comfortable. Um, perhaps
Their
yes,
chip color doesn't match the rest of the table, does it?
uh, you could say that, and I would be very grateful if you could help in this endeavor. And perhaps once they retrieve what they're looking for, they will leave us alone."
Doesn't really feel like we have a choice. To be honest.
Of course, you have a choice. If you don't go, I'll have to send some of my own people instead. Um, you'd have to travel by foot without the assistance of your ship. Um, would be more dangerous, but of course, I can't ask my guests to put themselves in any additional danger. If you would rather sit this one out, I would totally understand. Mind you, by doing this, we could strike an accord. You arrived here in search of supplies, and we have ample food.
I think we might need to discuss the matter.
Of course, I understand. Um, I will retreat to the roundhouse to confer with my other elders. Um, please, when you're ready with your decision, come meet us, and we will talk to Mother Michaela together.
Will you tell your guards to let us cross the bridges? Because that's what led to this confrontation. And you know he did fire first.
Yes, well, we could consider that self-defense, but although, and you can take a look around. The locals around here, although they are frightened of you guys since you did kill one of them, uh, they're not looking at you with kind eyes. Let's just say that. This guard, he asked this guard to stay here at this bridge to watch the ship. And he says, please make sure that no one from that ship crosses this bridge, is what he instructs the guard to do. In fact, this other guard will do. The rest of you make your way back to the roundhouse.
We could just leave, take the tunnel exit or entrance.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Where would we go after the tunnel?
As of right now, anywhere that Frank isn't would be better than this.
What if Frank comes with us?
You see, Aiko doesn't say anything, but you can see him trying to hide a smile.
I think there's just 3 of them and Frank. Got him outnumbered.
Aiko's gonna walk over to Gideon and very creepishly put his hands on his shoulder. How you feeling, sport?
I think Gideon fully looks like he's trying to fight off a panic attack, so he probably doesn't really say anything. He just kind of shrugs you off and kind of walks away a little bit of ways from the group.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to hang out with Frank anytime soon. I don't think he wants to hang out with Frank anytime soon.
What are the odds that sisters are on the ship, Gideon?
I want to at least see. They're there.
Aiko's gonna go over to South and kind of like pull him aside and be like, "Why would you bring that up? Do you know what fate awaits them if they even are alive on that ship? Why would you tell him this?"
Because before we left the Alanya, told Gideon we'd do a flyover Baxter's Reach to see what happened. The kid deserves to know what happened. Wouldn't you want to know if that was your family? Or oh wait, you don't have a family. You don't really care. That's
You are
right. I forgot about that.
compromising the mission. Gideon,
What, your agenda? It's up to Gideon. I'm not compromising anything. Gideon probably was already thinking it when he saw Frank.
Well, since I'm clearly the only one here who understands the concept of leverage, let me spell it out to all y'all once again. If we're going to be taking on these less than friendly people, we need some sort of collateral in case things go south. No pun intended. And I'm a bit worried that we don't got, as Mags would say, the chips on our side of the table. So we got to figure out some way to stack the house favor.
Well, I don't think whatever your plan is involving Gideon, I don't think Gideon appreciates his sisters being used as leverage in your plan.
I'm saying we don't have collateral from them. We don't trust them. We need to get something from them. And maybe, if what you're postulating is true, maybe we tell them, we can ask if they have them. And if they do, we can ask for one of them to accompany us as collateral. Of course, one of us will have to stay behind as well. Stealth, I'd be happy to volunteer you.
So I was going to hold up the 2 assault rifles and go, I'm not volunteering to stay here. Absolutely not.
What if we agree to go with Frank and the guards, and then when we start to get a bit out of town, we attack them, kill them dead?
As my
I like
body
this idea, though.
I don't think that's gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Frank knows us. Or, well, I don't think I was down there. I think it was just Gideon, Otmar, and Aiko, right? Maybe? I think I stayed in the
I
ship.
think now would be a good time to share a little information from my research as well. When you say kill them, that actually might compromise our own safety. My lab's technicians and so forth have informed me that the blood actually seems to turn acidic. So we might have a problem with that plan.
Talking about Frank?
I don't know what the hell is up with these folks, and if they've got a tenth of what this black goo is capable of doing to them inside their bodies, then yeah, they're all compromised. I wouldn't want to be near them if we're shooting them.
I think Frank's a synthetic.
How confident are you that he's still a synthetic?
I see your point.
And what about those guys in hoods? They could be ready to blow at any time.
Better blow them on our terms than theirs.
Well, as long as we don't shoot them on the ship, I mean, what are they going to do? Melt a hole through the entire planet? I mean,
They are also ridiculously stronger.
Yeah.
Also point that out.
If they're all like Frank, we'd be dead in minutes. Ain't no way we're winning that fight.
well, it seemed like Frank recognized you two. So he's probably counting on that anyway, I'd assume.
I will say this. He had the opportunity to kill both of us immediately, and he didn't, which means either he's sadistic, which we can exploit, or he sees value in us being alive, and maybe he's trying to cash in on that value now. Either way, anything that Frank agrees to is already in his favor, and we need to start figuring out what the hell he wants.
For
Every
once,
second-
Aiko, I think you've actually got a lay of the table. I mean, I agree with you. We wouldn't be here if he didn't want us to be here. And I agree with Otmar. We have him outnumbered. Now, mind you, we got to be careful. If we're just counting warm bodies, they're cheap chips. But if it's a synth, or all of them are synths, we've got a problem on our hands, like something we'll have to figure out. But I think he wants us alive. I think you're right. So why don't we take our chances with him and the 3 others? If you're right, what are they going to do? And if you're wrong, maybe Otmar's got a point. Feels like a good hedge to me.
Well, what's on the ship? Why the extra bodyguards if it was their ship? I mean, in theory, Frank should just be able to walk on it, get whatever he needs, and walk out. Something's on that ship that they can't control or don't know how to control yet.
This is my play, South. This is exactly my play. We need to get somebody on that ship while we're out and about.
Or I'm talking about the crash ship. The one that
Oh, I'm
they want
talking
us to
about Frank.
investigate.
Didn't Chikondi say they go around seeding the place? Wouldn't there be more of that, like, egg stuff or the goo stuff?
Maybe they
Or
can't
it's those
control
guys
it.
in robes.
I don't know. I
Either
got a bad feeling about that ship. Something's on it that
Daylight's
they don't.
burning here, folks, and while we have a lot more of it than we used to, let's make a decision here. What do you think?
Let's go to the ship. It's the only decision we got. I think.
I'll come. Okay.
We'll go with the bodyguard, I guess.
All right. So
Which
I'm
ship?
gonna.
Chikondi's old ship. Isn't that where they're sending us to get
The
to?
crash one.
Yeah,
Cool.
the crashed one.
So I'm gonna just bring the 5 of you over here to the roundhouse where the elders are meeting. You can see them in deep discussions, and as you arrive, they all fall conspicuously silent and turn to look at you at the same time. Esteemed guests, have you made your decision?
So I was going to push Heiko forward. Since it's his grand scheme.
Yes, yes, we have. And we need a brave volunteer.
A volunteer for what?
We want to put someone on Frank's ship while we're out and about. Gather some data for it.
To what purpose?
We really need to know what's on that ship. We need somebody brave that act as a prisoner of exchange until that time.
Now, why would we put ourselves in that position? We have no interest in that ship. In fact, we would love to see it gone.
Yes.
Echo, I thought you had volunteered for that.
Presidents are not allowed to be hostages. It's company policy.
Gideon, what if you go? What if you promise Frank, or we promise Frank we'll get it done if you get to see your sisters?
Very shrewd, Sam.
Okay.
But
Gideon, do you really want to see them if they've got an elongated head like the others? I'm just asking the question because nobody else has. Do you really want to see that?
Better than not knowing, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yen, I want you to go with Gideon.
She looks. Excuse me. You want me to go onto that ship with all those madmen?
Gideon is an important asset to the company. I need
Uh,
you to protect that asset.
Gideon's from a backwater hick town. I am a Wayland-Yutani executive.
And you've been deputized, so that is true. However, this kid right here happens to be the best pilot on this planet. So, as of right now, this is the most important asset I need you to protect.
I literally just
Oh,
got my learner's permit. Why are you saying about best?
I was gonna like elbow you.
so
Jesus, Andrew.
what are we getting for this, by the way? Wh-
There may be an opportunity to unalive Frank. I don't know. And if that opportunity comes and we have assets on that ship, we might be able to take it over and keep it from attacking us. So there's also the benefit of
Wait,
knowing
wait,
what's
wait,
on
wait,
that
wait.
ship.
This is Zuma speaking. You are out of your fucking mind. That is a ship full of crazy cultists armed to the teeth. Do you see the weapons, the railguns on that ship? They'll destroy this place in the blink of an eye if they wanted to. And
Yes.
what makes you think that a colony of people who can barely scrape together 6 guns, what are we going to do against that?
Oh, that's exactly my point. You see, if Gideon's on the ship, she can probably find a way to sneak onto that bridge and take over if we need her to. Need him to.
You are putting a lot of faith in this young man who just got his learner's permit, and you are risking our entire village.
This young man outflew the Ilyanya.
That means absolutely nothing to me. All I know is that you, for your own personal agenda, and I, for some reason, want that ship. I will have none of it. I will not put my people at risk for you.
Company is very disappointed to hear this. It's clear you're still playing checkers when you need to start playing chess.
What about the air purifiers? We get those up and running. Will you do it then?
You get the air purifiers up. That is something. There are
Didn't sound like a
so
commitment to me.
I hesitate because there are just so many ways this plan can go wrong.
Didn't say Aiko had a good plan, but
He
it's a
never
plan
does.
nonetheless. It's true too.
So let's say this. Let's say we do put your young man Gideon, and Yen agrees to be hostage, collateral. What are we expecting from them? Usually it's a two-way thing. We don't just give something up without expecting something in return.
Well, Frank's going to join us, and he's not going to be allowed to bring any weapons, and neither is his bodyguard.
You really think that's going to fly? What do they gain from this?
Gain whatever's on that ship that they need so bad.
My number one job in acquisitions and mergers is reading people. Now, mind you, I don't know if I can call Frank a person, but regardless, I'll tell you this. He's strong. He knows he's stronger than us, and we're going to use that against him. He does not need weapons to kill us. I'll admit it. However, By him not having weapons and his crew not having weapons, he is weaker. And while we are still understaffed in terms of what we need to handle him being unarmed and cocky about it puts the odds just slightly more in our favor. That's how you got to play a guy like Frank.
So, you think that they will expect to agree to going unarmed on a hostile planet with the pharaohs, the cannibals running around, accompanied with you, who I'm assuming you are suggesting you yourselves will be armed, but they are not, or will you go unarmed as well?
They don't need to know what we have. Look,
I've heard enough. Listen. If you
Gideon
want, if
has survived capture from this. He kept him alive. He wants something from Gideon and potentially something from me. So we're going to be giving him back something we already know he desperately wants.
you want to give up one of your own, I can't stop you from doing that. If Yen, you agree to this lunatic's idea, you're free to do as you wish. I won't stop you. But I will not do anything to jeopardize the health and safety of the people of this colony. My primary mission is to get those people off my planet. They are the most clear and present threat to it. I will not let you jeopardize that either. Because of that, we have decided that Leonard and one of his guards will accompany you as well.
Just make sure he follows orders.
No, you seem to misunderstand here. You are not in charge.
What makes you think you have any play here whatsoever? If our plan goes bottoms up, you guys go bottom down.
That's why Leonard will be there to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you make sure Leonard does whatever the fuck I tell him. Or we're all dead.
So do you still carry 2 of the rifles from the guards? Who has Otmar? You still have one too?
Otmar has the one I gave him when he became my
No, but
bodyguard.
he gave it back to Ike. Did he take it back at some point?
When
I
you
don't
became the bodyguard, I gave you the gun, I believe. And
know.
the
I guess
firearm.
he's got one, but he's not using it. Doesn't like it.
Makes Aiko feel safer.
Okay, yeah, it's in Aiko's inventory. So I'll switch that over to you, Otmar. You got it now?
I'm assuming giving Gideon a firearm to go, if Frank does allow Gideon into the ship, it's probably not going to be with a firearm.
Probably.
What about
But
Mag?
We put
She's
a
not gonna
bomb
like it.
inside of No, I'm just kidding.
Yes!
Don't
The
give
only
him
problem
any
is you don't have
ideas.
Carl. That's the only problem.
you see Leonard looking at you, South, with 2 weapons. Otmar, you having the third. This is half their pulse rifles that you guys now have in your possession. And he looks at you and says, I wouldn't mind having one of those back.
I wouldn't. Mm-mm. You tried to steal from us. I'm not giving you this back. You kidding me?
For our mutual survival.
Now, South, we can show them how you can return possessions to their rightful owners. Set a good example here.
So in theory, if Gideon gets aboard the ship, she's not going to have a firearm, and he's going to kind of look at Mags. You're going to hate this suggestion. What if I give Mags a pulse rifle and Mags, you give Gideon the revolver?
You know the answer.
I know. I just had to ask. That way she's not, or that way he's not unarmed inside the
What
ship.
makes you think they gonna let anyone on that ship?
I don't, but
Promise of a silver tongue is all you got.
Frank
Mags,
knows Gideon.
Mags, just to
I think
chip
that's
in
going
on
to
what
spark his
Stealth is
interest.
saying, maybe if I could put it in terms you might favor, if we give Gideon that there prized pistol, we'd be stacking the cards in our favor. Don't you want the house odds to win on this one?
I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the gesture, but as someone who has a 0 in ranged combat, a gun might not be the best thing to give him.
I'm gonna start calling you Andrea from now on.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'll give you one of the pulse rifles back in good faith that if anything happens or goes sideways with Frank, you'll be on our side.
Yeah. Much as I hate to
Gentlemen's
say
agreement?
it, as much as I hate to say it, I would rather deal with a lot of you, your known quantity, as opposed to those coops.
Flattering.
South will unsling pulse rifle, holding it in one hand and a handshake out in the other.
Takes your hand first, gives it a good shake. Just thank you.
I'll pull him close and I'll say, "You betray us, I will kill you. You won't get another chance. Take advantage of us like you did the first time."
Gives you a smile and says, "Hear you loud and clear. I'd expect nothing less." That's a pulse rifle too. All right. There's Vidan then says, "Okay, so we have a plan then. Gideon, you are okay with this?"
Yeah.
And he looks over at Yen. Yen, you are okay with this? Yen looks over at you, Aiko, and says, "I expect you to put this in your logs and to give me a commendation for this. I expect promotion and salary commiserate to the risk that I am taking."
Again, you're gonna be 100% on board. You're already in good terms. This is only gonna look even better. So absolutely.
And
Um,
don't forget hazard and overtime pay.
yes, and that too. The driver's license pilot knows exactly.
I'll have to
Wait a
get back to you on the hazard pay. But if we can secure this ship, there's a big commission in. Bonus if you keep that kid alive.
Yen says, so 1 second. You're expecting this kid to hijack a ship full of cultists?
As a last resort, yes. But while you're on there, you guys just play nice. Try to manipulate him. You are a professional Wayland-Yutani associate. These guys are clowns. You could talk your way into the pilot's seat, play dumb. That kid hits a few switches, closes the door, boom, you got the ship. I'm telling you, you guys are aces in the hole.
You make a manipulation check for me, please, Icon. All right, she looks at you a little doubt clearly on her face, but says, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do this. I'll prove myself to you. I'll prove myself to Wayland-Yutani. I'll prove." Everyone here thinks I'm a Nepo kid. No, I'll earn my keep here. Oh, you're pushing too.
Oh, no,
Oh, no,
I didn't mean to.
okay.
I was just misclick.
All right.
I'll actually
We
take
have a
one.
deal then. And she holds out her hand for you to shake it.
Aiko's gonna take out his data pad and actually show her that it's being notarized. And then he's gonna shake her hand.
Everyone
In
here's a
fact-
witness.
Aiko's gonna hand her his data pad and be like, you know what? If Gideon does anything you don't like, you write up a citation.
Gideon's not a Wayland Yutani employee. I don't know if citations really have any.
It's kind of a gray area. They're all kind of my employees. They just don't always like to think of themselves that way, but they are just as expendable as any low-level employee. But just for facsimile purposes, assume that was both the right word and that they are employees for all intents.
I'll do right by you, Mr. Kimura, and by Wayland Yutani. You see. We'll get that ship for you.
If we can get that ship, I can get you moved immediately to a director level minimum.
Looks over at Zuma and says, you hear that? I'm going to be your boss, bitch. Zuma just rolls. Vidan says, okay, enough of the pleasantries. Let's go talk to Mother Michaela. And I pray to God, if there is one, that this works. It's before you go, if you will be traveling in the city, we do have compression suits for all of you. You will need it, otherwise you will fall under the effects of the phosgene gas. So I'll add each of your inventories if you don't have one already. Compression suit. Oh, Gideon. Oh, you're not going, are you, Gideon? You're gonna stay, right? I'm here. Okay. Oh yeah, you have one. Otmar, you already got one. Echo. They begrudgingly give you one. Shouldn't be in there.
Oh, I was about to say, can I give that motion tracker to Gideon? That seems useful.
No, you don't have one. I forgot. I was playing with it earlier and I forgot to take it out. All right, and that's it. Okay, you guys all got it.
Aiko's actually also going to take off his Rolex watch. And he's going to put it on Gideon for good luck.
What the fuck is this?
Now you give that back. That's worth more than everybody here combined. But
I don't want it. You can take it back.
it's a gesture of goodwill, kid. It's good luck.
Why is a watch good luck? It's a
Tell the
watch. It's not
time.
going to do anything.
I tell you what, kid. We get that chip. You can keep that watch. You can sell it. Buy whatever you want.
I'm going to keep it regardless now. Thanks.
That's not your signature item, is it, Aiko?
My signature item is letter
Okay.
of corporate authorization.
Okay. All right. So you approach and you can see disembarking from the ship. Mother Michaela, Frank, two of the devotees. Young woman. They're all wearing suits. Like these suits make them look. These are the heavy old style. What do they call them? Pressure suits. They're massive. They're like the old style space suits. They kind of walk around in. They got their helmets off to their side so you can still see their faces. And Gideon, you recognize one of them in one of your suits as your sister. Michaela approaches. And the guards here are there. I'm just gonna. Well, I got too many tokens out here. I gotta. These guys back. These guys give way for you guys to cross. Vidan crosses. Yen looks back at you, Aiko, one last time and bravely crosses with Vidan, expecting Gideon to follow.
I think Gideon's right behind her.
And that's when you notice your sister. She's wearing a pressure suit. They all are armed with a pistol at their hip. And just like the others, your sister now has a black paint across her eyes as she looks at you. No expression when she sees you. Mother Michaela approaches. So you've made a decision then. I have my contingent ready. Do you have yours? And Vidan says, yes. Just a slight addition to our agreement. These two, as the motions to Gideon and Yen, have agreed to stay with your crew on your ship as collateral, and as a sign of good faith, that we can work together, our community, and you, to achieve a common goal. And Mother Michaela says, I have no need for collateral. I trust your word, Vidan. You would not betray me. Vidan says, no, of course I would not, of course. But this was the idea of one of our guests, as he kind of reaches over his shoulder to gesture at you. I go, Mr. Kimura, would you mind approaching?
Of course. Hey again, Frankie.
Frank gives you a half smile as he sees you. Yes, Brother Frank was telling me about his experience with this crew recently. Funny. Small universe.
Well, as you could understand, our trust for you is on the lower side of the pool. And we thought, hey, let's rebuild that trust. Y'all there, leave your weapons and guns behind. These guys will stay back in your ship as a sign of good faith. No ill intent on either side.
He just looks at you straight in the face, Aiko, and says, no. Those terms are unacceptable.
Well, let me tell you, terms are never unacceptable. They're just unleveraged. So why don't you tell me why you think you're calling the shots here? Because the way I see it, if we don't work together, neither of us is going to get what we want.
Mother Michaela has a kind of sinister looking smile on her face as she says, it is in your best interest, or if not yours, this community's best interest, to cooperate with us. We have enough firepower on the ship to level every single building and put a bullet in every person in this place.
But you haven't, which means it's better for you if we work together. And that's exactly my point. Exactly my point. Now, if you have all that firepower, which I believe you do, there is no need to bring those pistols with those gentlemen over there. Unless you're saying you can't actually take us so easily, in which case I'm happy to negotiate on those terms as well.
How about this then? You leave two of your crew members aboard my ship. and I will leave 2 of my crew members aboard yours.
I think we prefer the no guns thing.
This is a hostile planet. We have scanned life forms below, and I understand they have gone feral. I will not endanger my devotees' lives.
Aiko's gonna walk over to Frank and kind of start circling around him, just kind of eyeing him up. I'm like, you know, I did some research while I was away from last we met, and I learned a few things. And looking at this here, Frank, I don't think you have to be scared of any clown on this planet. You got the most powerful weapon right here. All I'm saying is, my crew would be happier without those little water pistols you're bringing. Besides, you're bringing the atom bomb right here. You got Frank. Don't tell me you're scared of some pissant fleas down there below.
And I suppose you're suggesting we go unarmed while you go armed. Is that as she looks back and sees Otmar, South, Leonard, each sporting a pulse rifle?
Well, we're leaving you with 2 of our most important assets. We're leaving you with a director in training of Wayland Yutani and one of our most important young up-and-coming employees, Gideon. So you're getting 2 of our best employees as a sign of good faith. And 2, unlike you, we don't have a Frank. We do need to defend ourselves from those monkeys down below. Unless, of course, Frank is willing to follow my orders.
She is just, the smile on her face has not left. It's just constant as she just looks at you as if she's amused by you. You really think that I will agree to these terms? That you will plant 2 individuals on my ship, spies, I'm sure. And to that, I will agree to disarm my party while you are armed to go on this mission.
Answer me this question. If Frank wants to kill everyone here, he could do that, couldn't he?
Why would he do that?
That's not what I asked, ma'am. He could, couldn't he?
Brother Frank does have exceptional strength and abilities. Yes,
That's exactly my fucking point. You don't need those water pistols.
but he is not immortal.
Look, my crew's just a little uneasy working with you guys. We have the equivalent of BB guns to what you got here. You've got an atom bomb walking around with you. That's the real deal. You have all the power here. You have all the cards. I'm trying to make this play to calm my crew down. They're on their wits' end. You got to work with me here.
If you want to make a roll, you can.
I would love to make a manipulation roll. I was born to manipulate.
You want to push it.
Probably sounds like I should. Oh, that's what I like to see.
Total of 5
Five.
successes. She is unmoved. She is immune to manipulation.
I didn't know that was a thing.
She simply smiles at you and says, "These are our terms. You can either take them or leave it. If you leave and do not agree to my terms, we will have to take matters into our own hand without your cooperation. And in fact, we will view your non cooperation as obstruction, and I would hate fate to see what might come of this beautiful, quaint little village.
I was just gonna kind of look up and down at Frank. Well, got my back up against the wall. And it
I will
sounds
still
like
agree to your terms. I will agree to a portion of your terms. I will agree to take the young man and woman aboard my ship as a sign of your good faith.
would you be willing to give us one or two of your guns as well so that we can better defend ourselves? Like I said, we've got BB guns compared to yours.
She looks past you at the weapons that you guys are carrying and says, "No, it would seem, in fact, that your weapons are superior to the ones that my devotees wield already. All they carry are pistols. You carry pulse rifles."
I've never been much of a gun guy. All right.
She looks at you, Gideon, or rather, she feels like she's looking through you. And she holds her hand out, this long, like 4 foot long arm that's kind of bulky and just kind of weird looking veins kind of popping out of it, blue skin. Come, child.
I think the entire time Gideon's not fully just not even looking away from Leanna and just slowly kind of walks up.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Gideon, I believe your name is.
Yes.
She looks back over her shoulder at Leanna and says, "Your sister was telling me all about you."
Is she okay? What happened?
Why don't you ask for yourself? And she gestures for Leanna to step forward. And she does. Still expressionless, still kind of stone face. She's kind of got a white paint underneath, like on her face, as along with the black streak across her eyes. And she looks at you, doesn't say a word.
Aiko's just going to quickly grab Gideon's arm and whisper, "Careful what you say, kid."
I think Gideon goes to try and hug her, but then decides against it. And just gets, are you okay? I've been trying to find way back. What happened? Are you okay? What about the others?
You left us. Just like father.
I yeah, I know, and I've been trying to get back. I've been trying to find you guys and trying to find a way back, but are you okay?
Swell. She looks back over at Mother Michaela and says, "May I step back?" And Mother Michaela says, "Now, Leanna, Sister Leanna, this is your long lost brother. He missed you." Sh- Your sister turns back to look at you, still expressionless. They're dead. And she turns back to you and walks back to take her position amongst the other two. Mother Michaela steps forward. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Gideon. Perhaps I underestimated the traumatic uh, repercussions of perhaps family reunion. You are more than welcome to stay aboard the Syncretia if you like, while you wait for your friends. I assure you no harm will come to you.
I don't think he can even really talk right now. I think he's just kind of standing there looking stunned.
Well, the choice is yours. You can, or perhaps you would like to join the expedition and spend some more time with your sister.
Okay.
Very well. She looks over past you at Vidal and says, I think this one will need a suit as well. Vidan says, oh, of course. And he calls over to one of the guards to retrieve a suit for you, Gideon. Michaela looks past you and looks at the others hiding behind buildings still. I understand there are those of you who are survivors of Baxter's Reach. I am sorry about what happened to your colony. It's such a waste of life. When I arrived there too late. All I found was Brother Frank and your sister, Gideon, sole survivors of that colony, it would seem. Those who would come to these far spinward colonies in the name of peace and reconnection, it would seem you have more to fear from them than you do from us. And she holds out her hands. Says, those of you from Baxter's Reach, I mean no harm. I simply wish to find my lost flock, retrieve what is ours, and I shall leave in peace. And if there are those amongst you here who would like to hear what we have to say in the form of salvation, perhaps finding your truth, we'd be more than happy to invite you. Have a compression suit. Yep. So, Yen kind of looks at you. I go, so, am I? The kid's not going on board. Do you still want me to get on that ship?
Grab a suit you're coming with, I guess.
Wait, what? Um,
You'll still get your promotion. Don't worry. Just get a suit on.
I don't. You know there. She leans in and kind of whispers. You know there are cannibals down there, right?
Otmar will protect us. He's my bodyguard.
She looks across the bridge over at Otmar. Um, I think he'll. I'm not so sure about that. I think I'll take my chances on the ship. If you're okay with that.
I didn't want you to go alone, but if you've got the chutzpah to do that,
Yeah.
all right.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get that ship for you. Then um then maybe I'll get that promotion. Okay. She bravely steps forward to Mother Michaela. I offer myself as tribute. Um, I'll stay aboard your ship while the others. Uh, Mother Michaela says, "As you wish. You can come and go as you please. You are not a prisoner." Dan says, yeah, okay, whatever." And she starts just walking past them towards the ship. Mother Michaela says, "Fine. Are we ready to go then?" Mother Michaela is actually staying. She's not going. It's just going to be Frank and the two devotees.
Echo's gonna say, "Hey, Liana, how you doing, kid?"
Back to Frank leans into you, Aiko, as Mother Michaela retreats back to her ship, and he glances back towards her and says, "Isn't she absolutely marvelous?"
She drives a hard bargain, I'll say that.
Yes, I look forward to continuing our conversation.
Hey, just between us girls, you think we could swap research a little later? I've learned a few things, you've learned a few things. Why not help each other out?
I would be very interested in hearing what you have learned.
Gonna get along just fine, Frank. Water under the bridge. Put her there.
All right. So here we go. Um, so I'm just going to move you guys. Oops, move too many of you guys here. Whoops. There we go. So it's you.
If Otmar could find a moment with Andrea on the way out, he
Sure.
might ask if she would be willing to hold on to a small item for him for a little while.
Okay. Andrea, I'll also say, accompanied you. She looks at you, Otmar, and says, like, is this really a good idea?
None of this is a good idea. Stopped being a good idea a damn long time ago.
I mean, this sounds kind of crazy. I mean, we just landed here. There's still this dead corpse on the ground, like just a few feet away from you.
You're from Baxter's Reach. This ain't shit to you. You've seen way worse than this.
Yeah, I know, but the cooperative was one thing, man. At least I knew what they're about. They're about power and authority, and these religious freaks. I don't, especially if they worship those aliens.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird and creepy. I know. That's why I want you to hold on to this while I go out in the jungle with those weirdos.
Sure. What is it?
I believe it's a sample.
Okay, how do you hand it to her?
If she's willing to take it, he has it. It's like in a little leather pouch that's like worn. It's best if it's just in a dusty corner where nobody looks.
Understood. This isn't what I think it is it?
I'm afraid it is, and we got to get it off this rock and destroy it. But for now, I think it's safe somewhere away from all of this.
this.
I liberated it from someone with more ill intent.
Immediately at Aiko.
Look over there. Don't give yourself away, girl. Keep those eyes straight. Dead.
Sorry, I'm not much of a liar. I don't have much of a poker face. Yeah, okay. Jesus Christ, Otmar. And she just kind of shoves it deep into her pocket. All right.
I'll be back to get it soon.
All right. And he just gives you a quick peck on the cheek as you leave. Otmar. Megs, you're still pretty hurt, aren't you, Megs?
Yeah, Mags is pretty roughed up. She's been listening behind a corner of this building, kind of patching herself up. Trying to patch herself up, but as we start to kind of head out, she might mention to Otmar, I think I need a moment. I think I need a rest. Need a few hours, just kind of get myself back to myself. You know what I mean?
What's your plan then?
I don't know, but anyway, we can buy time. I ain't doing too well.
Well, it's approaching nightfall, so I think we could buy till morning. But is that enough for you?
I think it might be. Though I don't remember the rules of the game specifically.
So you can recover your health and reduce your stress and panic after a shift. So which is like about 6 hours ish. So if you guys, it's like you said, it is like 8 p.m. ish. So
The jungle's dark at night. Let's not take our chances.
Leonard actually says that's actually a good idea. That's rather than by night in the jungle is a bit of a death wish. So let's strike out first thing in the morning, shall we?
I miss Baxter's Reach. I must have been able to just wait an hour and it'd be sunlight.
Yeah. All right. So let's do that then. Let's we'll reconvene tomorrow morning. So everyone, Frank and the devotees will return their ship. Yen will stay with you guys and then offer herself as a hostage next day. You guys can all take a short rest. Heal up all your wounds, clear all your stress. Make sure you clear your panic.
I don't clear stress though, do I? Because of the
You
nightmares.
have to roll for your nightmare. So let us do that. Nightmares. What does it say? Make an empathy roll when you
Empathy.
sleep. Yep.
Terrible at empathy.
So you
It
want to
was
fail.
Straight empathy, right?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't mean to add my stress dice on that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we won't count your stress dice, but you succeeded
How
splendidly.
do I pass
So
the test? I'm supposed to fail and fail the test I need to pass. I don't understand this mechanic.
in fact, your stress goes up by 1.
This is why I started GMing instead of being a player.
All right. So while the rest of you are having a blissful night of slumber, South, you are tossing and turning in this crazy humid weather, just recollecting. I mean, maybe it's the fact that you see Frank again, these cultists brings back a rush of traumatic memories from that fateful day on Baxter's Reach.
I think having these nightmares, Seth would kind of like maybe go outside and just kind of look at the moon, maybe, and just kind of sit outside and gather his thoughts instead of even trying to sleep at this point. I don't think. I don't think Seth has had a good night's rest in like 2 or 3 days, so I think it's probably starting to wear on him. He knows the routine, he knows the tossing and turning, so he figured, why even try at this point?
Is there anything else you guys would like to do that night? Or shall we just move on the day of the expedition? We'll move on then. As Frank, 3 devotees, one of which is Leanna, Gideon's sister, the 5 of you with Leonard and one of his guards. It's quite a large party. 4, 9, 10, 11 of you. Leonard says in his gruff voice, as long as we stick together, the pharaohs won't attack us. We've got good numbers. They only attack when they seriously outnumber one another. Don't stray off on your own, no matter what you see or hear. Stick with the pack. Move together. And with that, he closes his helmet from his own compression suit and descends down into the tunnel.
Do we have
So
a
just
radio? Or is it like through hand signals and speaking?
hand signals and speaking. So just let me get clear on what you guys are carrying. Does Aiko have a weapon?
No, I think everybody is safer.
Otmar
All right.
really doesn't like the rifle. He doesn't like guns. So he doesn't want to give it to somebody who's going to use it against him. So he's kind of holding on to it for that reason.
Okay. Gideon, you are also unarmed. But you have your stick.
I have my cutting torch, but that's about all I have.
What's your gun skill?
0.
Okay. All right. This will go well. All right. So you descend down to the jungle floor. So, and are not there. Not there. As you make your way across this jungle floor, you can see Leonard is leading the way. He has a machete and he's chopping away undergrowth and slow progress. But he knows the way to the crash site and Dylan Colony. And you can kind of see after a while, with this humidity and this heat, you are sweating bullets in your suits. It is very uncomfortable. And you are fighting every urge to lift open your masks and get a breath of fresh air. But you can even see at this point, now that you've been told about a very faint yellow haze that kind of blankets the floor of this jungle. That's phosgene gas that if you were to breathe it would, over time, do some damage to you. Leonard is taking the front. The other guard from the village is taking the rear. How would you guys like to travel? You guys are going single file.
Aiko will be in the very back.
Yeah, Otmar might be in the back too. I think he wants to see how things unfold.
I think Gideon's probably going to be near his sister.
You want to be in front of your sister or behind her?
Behind her.
Megs?
Mags would be up, keeping a good look on Leonard. Just keeping her eye on him.
Yeah.
Up towards the front.
All right. So if it's Leonard first, then Megs, then it'll be Frank. I'll put middle for now. Here. The other devotee. There. So, Megs, you're kind of surrounded. No, not too surrounded. Frank is right behind you with his two devotees. South is behind them. And then guard.
Just another rotation in paradise, isn't it, Frank? Feels like we're hiking through Hell's Back 40 here with this personal sauna.
You notice Frank is not wearing a suit.
You seem comfortable.
He looks at you, smiles, says, "It is pleasant. I wish I had more time here to explore. The wildlife here seems to have so much potential."
Fun that you can observe potential in all of this. Potential for what exactly, Frank? Why don't you put your cards face up for once? I'm curious what your motive is.
You see me as a villain, don't you?
Ah, Frank, look at me. Many have seen me as a villain. I'm not quick to judge. I know an opportunist when I see one. But I'm curious, what's your angle?
Oh, like you, I believe we are both perhaps misunderstood. And believe it or not, my actions, my motives are for the betterment of humanity.
You hear Aiko yell, "Same!"
It's just that there are large swaths of so called humanity that are either too ignorant or too fearful to take the necessary steps for self improvement.
Self-improvement. Fascinating concept. Fascinating concept.
Until I
So
found,
define it. What do you
well,
mean by self-improvement? I'm like you, I'm an opportunist. I see the good in things. I see potential. Yet I somehow take that personally. Are you implying that I myself am not seeing the potential in something?
oh, no, the very fact that you are standing here walking on this foreign planet is testament to your ability to survive and adapt. It's commendable. If you wish, I can show you the path.
I feel like our friend over here, Leonard, is showing us a path. Does your path deviate from where Leonard is, bushwhacking us right now?
Leonard is perhaps carving in a very rudimentary and primitive way a physical path. But what I mean is the journey of a more spiritual and perhaps existential path.
Don't mind me, but that word strikes me as somewhat threatening. Don't you
Oh,
don't you feel existential is a threatening word? Not the vocabulary I might choose.
must forgive me my command of spiritual languages rather unlearned. I only came into the company of Mother Michaela recently, and she has taught me so much.
You look great, Frank. I mean, your complexion is beautiful. You've got this great strength about you, and your eyes. I mean, they're just glowing. Forgive me if I'm not, diving into your offer, but you look like fucking shit, Frank. You look like shit. Tell me about this way that you speak of, because frankly, by visuals, I don't agree with it.
Perhaps there are those who learn faith through seeing, much like Saint Thomas, the doubter. And there are those who would believe on faith. It would seem as though you are the former. And then, if you would allow me, once we reach the crash site, you shall see for yourself the power of faith.
Fair enough, Frank. In the meantime, we've got our backs, right?
Oh, I certainly do. I would not dare allow one of these cannibals to destroy such precious lives. So much potential.
Tell me, have you converted Liana back there?
Oh, Liana. It is fortunate that Mother Michaela found me when she did. My experiments, although well intentioned, I now realize were perhaps misguided. And the experiments I performed upon her sisters, well, although proving fruitful, I realize now was perhaps a waste.
Might keep that to yourself. Not sure that would be well received. If you're trying to make friends here, not the right strategy.
Perhaps you misunderstand me. Again, I have no intention of making friends. I have what I need and I know what I seek. It's a simple of matter of what is. Leanna will have her choice, her chance though. When we arrive at the crashed ship, she has chosen the path, and she has been deemed worthy.
To each their own.
Indeed.
Mags will, keep her focus now on Leonard and sort of get a bit quiet.
At the tail end of this train, the slow moving train of people as it moves through the jungle floor, Gideon, you see Liana struggling. These suits that they're wearing are bulky, they're old, they're not very well made. And trying to tromp through a thick jungle with a spacesuit on effectively is hard work. And you can see her stumbling every once in a while as she makes her way forward.
I think he's gonna walk up next to her and be like, Do you want a hand?
Don't touch me.
Okay. Look, you don't have to answer. You don't have to make any decisions now, but can I tell you what happened for me on that day? No pressure, you can say no, but can I at least tell you?
I'll call you like. And I'm going to listen.
Okay. No, yeah, fair. I went down there to go and find you. I was already pretty hurt and probably should not have been there. I thought I found you, Jackie, and Emily, and I was about to come and get you when Frank jumped me. And you always knew I wasn't very good at fighting anyway. He got me. He got me pretty good, I'll admit. And
Were you? She just whirls around and yells at you. What were you doing down there? Weren't you in a wheelchair?
yeah, but I couldn't just. I didn't want to leave y'all behind, and it was my decision to take everybody down there. And they all listened to me for some strange reason. But yeah, I wanted to come and get you guys. I didn't know where you were, and then I saw y'all go with Frank and at the ship. So I followed, and I found y'all in these weird cocoon thingamabobs. And Frank jumped me. I mean, it was pretty easy, to be honest. I already wasn't doing very well, and I'm shit at fighting. I always get my ass handed to me. But yeah, and then next thing I know, I'm in this weird ass room with a bunch of those things down there. I don't remember exactly what Frank called them. I couldn't really move. Lord knows I probably had a hell of a concussion. And the next thing I know, I'm being carried out, and all those things are chasing us. And I heard Baxter's Reach got destroyed. And for a while, I thought y'all went with it. I thought y'all had died in that blast, but then I heard that it wasn't the compound, I guess, ship thing that got destroyed, but it was just the town. And I thought maybe if I can convince the others, I could come back and try and find you. I've been trying to come back, and I'm sorry I never came back earlier. You could be mad at me, you can yell at me, do whatever you want, but just please know I really have been trying.
A manipulation roll for me, please, and you can add 2 dice.
Ooh, okay. Can I push?
Certainly push. Oh my gosh. Liana continues walking, stumbling through this forest, this jungle. But at the very end, when you finish, your story or your recounting, you can tell she just kind of turns her head a little bit and says, "They came for us."
Hmm. I didn't want to leave y'all alone. It was my fault Sophie died. Um, and I didn't want that to happen to you two. Or three.
She stops dead in her tracks, and so suddenly you almost bump into her. And she turns around and says, and you can see tears streaming down her face. They're kind of smudging the black marks of her paint. They're gone, you know. They're all dead.
Mm.
And she looks forward, and Frank, he's saved us. If it weren't for Frank, we'd have been dead. Would have been nuked like everyone else. Or when those creatures came after us, he stopped them. So, and then when Mother Michaela came, it's the first time I felt I could let go. And someone else could be in charge for once and look after me. But I'm tired, Gideon. And I'm done with all this bullshit. I've chosen a path for myself. And Gideon, I want you, nothing else, to respect that.
Okay. I get that. I get being tired, and I'll respect whatever it is you decide. Just know I'll be here for you if you need it. Okay?
And she picks herself up and continues to trudge along through the jungle in silence. This is a long walk through very hot jungle for the rest of you. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss with your fellow adventurers before we arrive at the crash site?
Aiko's going to kind of casually walk up the line and just have quick conversations with folks. He wants to get like a light assessment of their mental state. So he'll kind of just ping Otmar and be like, "Hey, how are things going?"
It's about as disgusting as I expected. I don't know what's going to happen overnight. Maybe we'll make it there by nightfall. I don't even know.
Just keep that special package safe, and Aiko will just tap his nose.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Otmar continues walking.
Aiko will scoot up to Gideon. How you doing, kid?
Okay.
I want to make an observation check to see what Gideon looks like.
Okay, go for it.
Ooh.
Ouchie. All right. Off to a great start, Heiko.
Maybe instead of
12.
trembling, I kind of start stumbling as I'm trying to size them up. I'm kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Forget it. Forget I asked.
How do you already have 3 stress dice? I don't get that.
Oh, did we get a full rest?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I should have been at 0 stress.
Okay, we won't get rid of the panic and the stress.
I just do a poor job of clearing panic. I just roll. Oh, okay. So then I would have had 1 success.
One
so then-
success. All right. So what would Aiko see, Gideon?
I think I could see Gideon just looking just sad. Like he just learned pretty much his entire family is gone, and Leanna absolutely wants nothing to do with him. It's just kind of this mixture of sad and anger, I guess, kind of directed towards himself almost.
Would it be clear that you're not focused on the mission at hand?
No shit, Sherlock. He doesn't give a shit about that.
Aiko's going to be trying a rousing speech here, so feel free to push back. But Aiko's going to kind of lean in and be like, kid, I know you got a lot going on, but if things go south, we're fucked. So I'm going to need you to put on your big boy pants and focus, all right? Can you do that for me, King?
Aiko, can you fuck off? Just go away. No one wants you here. We never even wanted you in the first place. Just go away.
Whoa, kid. All right, we're going to try some Hindu breathing techniques. Now, I learned this from a Sherpa way back on my pilgrimage.
God, you keep talking. I am literally going to rip your eyeballs out of your head.
All right, we're going to put a pin on that meeting room and circle back later. Deep breaths now while I'm gone. Hey, Liana, how you doing, kid?
Fuck off.
South, how are things headed?
I don't trust these war boys in front of us.
I like that name.
Yeah, I got it from. You ever see a movie called Mad Max back in the day?
I see it now.
He's an old movie junkie. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust him, and I really don't trust Frank, and Leonard's throwing back on me, I guess.
I'm going to need you to do me a favor. I think Gideon's a little off his rocker at the moment. Just keep an eye on that kid and make sure he doesn't fly too far off the handle. I think this deal with his sister has compromised his mental faculties.
I mean, can you really blame him? I mean, think your sisters are dead, don't know what happens. One of them shows up. I mean, it'd be a lot for anyone, Aiko. Even though we are backwater people, we are still people with emotions at the end of the day. So I think he just needs some space.
You can have your emotions, just not when we're on a fucking mission where we can all die.
Well, we've got some time before we get there, so
Look, all I'm saying
that's all he needs.
Just don't let the kid fly off the handle completely, all right? Can you do that? Can you keep a lid on the kid?
Yeah, I can do that.
All I asked. So I guess we don't know these two guys' names, or are they guys or a girl? Like, what are they?
Can't really tell. They're pretty androgynous.
Are they
War boys? I just said it.
Yeah, war boys. If they're walking close enough, Aiko's gonna walk up to the two of them and put his arms around them, going, "How are you fellas doing?" Try to get a good look at them.
You can see both their hands reach towards their pistols and kind of try and shake you off them, but they don't say anything.
Oh, whoa, hey, just breaking the ice. You know, it's hot enough here. We didn't need to turn the temperature up that much. You boys doing okay? You are
See
boys,
Frank,
right?
who is walking slightly ahead of you guys, stop and turn. Aiko, is there a problem?
Not a problem at all. I'm just walking the line, making sure everybody's doing okay. How are you doing, Frank?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Come, join me.
I'd love to.
Gonna zip up next
Aiko's
to
gonna
Frank.
say, "Hey, Mags," and he's also gonna kind of indicate like, "Walk closer with us, please."
Mags will
Frank.
slow up a bit.
All right. Frank emulates your move, Aiko, and puts his arm around your shoulders and pulls you in close. And you can feel the power and the strength of this individual. Mr. Kimura. So, you were going to tell me about the research you found.
So Aiko kind of, while a little bit of retcon, while we were at camp for the night, Aiko took out his data pad and he kind of broke down all the research he had and he kind of categorized it into different levels of like, I guess, security or importance, almost like basically split up the data into like high priority information and low priority information, and they're compartmentalized. And so he's going to pull open his data pad and he's going to start with one of his like lowest little bits of data, just kind of some information about how it affects the blood and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, hey, I was really playing around with some of those samples. It's fascinating stuff, you know. Did you know that it could interact with blood in this way? And he just kind of Aiko shows him his data pad and shows him a little bit of his stuff on how it interacts with the blood and it can get into the DNA and stuff like that.
He looks at your data pad. You're holding onto it still, are you, or did you give it to him to look through?
Well, I'm holding it, but I'm kind of with my stylus
Okay. Okay.
on him.
He says, "May I?"
Yeah, I will also preface before I give this to him, not to him, but just meta. Like I've like encrypted things with my things. You can't just open the other parts of the research, just in case that's, you know. But yes, Frank to.
Okay. So he starts leafing through what he can. That's not unencrypted. He's like scrolling up and says, "Ah, fascinating. You've actually you've come a long way in your research. It's quite impressive. And have you had a chance to experiment?"
Who's within earshot of me?
Megs.
That's a bit of a gray area. I did not intentionally expose anyone to this, but there was someone exposed that we did run a few tests on in a manner.
You mean since you left Baxter's Reach? Weren't you on the Ionla, the Great Mother mission?
It's funny you should mention that. I do happen to be the president of the Yolanya mission.
And you were experimenting with your own crew.
The previous director confiscated my sample, and in that process, he infected himself. And so, due to the circumstances, it only made sense to avail ourselves to the data that his foolishness decided to provide.
Make a manipulation roll. Yes.
Mm. Mm.
All right.
Oh. Oh, it's command. Never mind.
So he kind of pauses as he looks at you for a moment. Says, "Interesting. You surprised me. Mr. Kimura. Perhaps we have more in common than I was originally led to believe.
Frank, I would love to hear what. Well, let's not spend all day on it. Of course, we're busy here, but I would love to hear what do you think's the most important insight you found with all your research? Because I gotta say, you've done so much more than I have, and I am so envious and jealous of what you must know.
Yes, I have. I have exceeded what you have found by several decades. But do not let me discourage you. You are on the right path, and I feel the more you look into this, the more you research, the more you discover, the more truth you will find.
Now, I agree with you there, Frank, and I'll tell you, you're living in the future. Can you help me out? Can you just give me a small hit? What? Just tell me one thing that you found.
Found it as well. You helped me find it. In fact, you and your friends, the Lich Gate. Go there now. This
Wait,
is just a stop along the way.
is it we're walking to the Lich Gate right now?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Lich Gate is in another system, uh, but not too far from here. And once we have collected what we need to from this ship, we intend on making our way to the Lich Gate and from there liberating or what's the right word? Evangelizing
now I
our
wouldn't
divinity.
pretend to understand all the machinations of what that implies, but as one fellow true enthusiast, perhaps you could just divine me with just a small morsel of what it is this Lich Gate represents.
He smiles at you. If you're deemed worthy, you will see that great day for yourself.
Sounds good to me, Frank. He'll keep walking up the line.
All right.
How you doing, Mags? And he's Aiko's gonna be like, "Did you fucking like?" With his eyes, he's kind of hinting like, "Did you fucking hear that guy over there?" Christ.
How am I doing? I think my doing's a little irrelevant, don't you? Clearly, you're playing the hand you were dealt, Aiko. Making friends along the way, I see. Cozying up to whomever might suit you best. Same playbook you've been playing the whole time. No? Little hot under the collar there, Aiko? Little warm here?
That's an understatement. But I'll say this: friends are in short supply right now. I don't even know who I can trust. The only people who's completely together, as far as I can tell right now, are, of course, myself. Hopefully, you, South, and Otmar. Everybody else here, I can't make left or right of them, and that worries me.
Don't
You
worry
got
about me.
well.
You focus on the objective.
That's the
I'm
point,
not entirely
Mags.
sure what your objective is, Michael.
Everything will sort itself out. In the meantime, when we get to that ship, I don't exactly know what's going to happen. And since you're a gambling expert, I wouldn't mind if you figured out what our odds are along the way and maybe come up with some plans we can use just in case the house odds turn against us. Because right now, we're not in control of too much.
I get the same feeling. We'll find an opportunity. Keep our eyes peeled.
That is a great project name for what we're doing here. This is Project Opportunity. I like it. You keep thinking like that, Mags, and we might get out of this alive.
She'll nod.
Aiko will just quickly kind of finish and check how Leonard's doing.
He is wildly thrashing with his machete as he's cutting through this. So you can't really get too close to him, and you can just hear him grunting and panting. It's hard work in this heat to cut a path through a jungle.
Yeah, Aiko really hates the idea of manual labor, so he's going to kind of just be like, all right, Leonard, you look like you're doing good, and he'll just kind of scoot back to the back.
So you guys travel like this for several hours. You break for a quick lunch. You guys, although there's nothing really to eat, you just have like your little water containers. The air is not so toxic that you can't lift off your masks for a few minutes, take a swig of water, and put it back on. It's only if you leave it off for like a few hours, then you'll start to feel the effects of it. You can see your sister, Gideon, take her helmet right off, take a deep breath in, cough a little with that strange, moldy straw kind of scent to the air. You can see her hair's all matted and sweaty, stuck to her head. She occasionally glances at you for a moment. All that black mask on her eyes is totally run down her face now. It's just a total disaster.
I think he's gonna hand over his water jug and be like, You need it? You okay?"
She looks at you, looks at it, and reluctantly takes it. Drinks it. And she is seriously on the verge of dehydration in this heat, in that suit. She passes back the empty bottle to you and says, "You shouldn't have come, Gideon."
Honestly, even if I knew what was gonna happen, I don't think I'd change it.
She nods at that and puts her helmet back on. Break time is over, and you continue to march through this jungle, and you continue to do so well into the evening hours. It's the setting of the sun offers you the only slightest of a break from this sweltering heat, and all around you, it's as the light fades, the sounds of the jungle kind of rise in volume, and you can hear the sounds of animals, monkeys, more likely the ferals, crying out in these very primal screams. That's what it sounds like, just these people screaming in the jungle. And they're uncomfortably close. A couple of hours after nightfall, you finally reach your destination and you see in the fading light, the last rays of light, you can see the massive cliff, similar to what you see in this picture here. But halfway up, a black mark where the ship crashed into it head on. and immediately below it, an area of crushed trees and vegetation and the scattering and remains of a Heliad's Class J ship. This is a massive ship similar to the one that landed carrying Mother Michaela. 3 decks, full cargo hold, 4 engines. It was massive. But all that is left, the top 2 decks, it kind of fell over onto its top. The top 2 decks are gone. They're just gone. Unrecognizable mass of twisted metal and shattered trees. You can access the ship through uh, the ramp that gets lowered on the bottom, which is now at the top of the ship, just poking over the trees. It's kind of burst open a little bit, a crack, allowing people entrance. As you gather around outside this crashed vessel, Frank steps forward and says, myself and the devotees will enter and retrieve what is ours. The rest of you, please wait here. See Leonard kind of glance quickly over at the rest of you and kind of questioning, are you guys good with this?
Seems like we should get eyes on it, but I don't know that we can intervene.
Whatever gets them in and off of the planet the quickest, right?
Aiko's gonna lean over to Mags and just whisper so that nobody else can hear. I don't think Gideon's in the most receptive mood to me and my beautiful planning. But if you could somehow plant a seed in her head, to plant a seed in his head, to plant a seed in his sister's head that she could tell us what the hell they're looking for, that would be good. I really think we need to play this sister card sooner rather than later.
Sounds like a sound idea, but what about you, Aiko? Do you have any guesses?
To be honest, I'm 50% positive that they're about to take out some canisters of some kind of black goo or some sort of incubation devices. But I don't know. And if we poke Frank the wrong way, that could be deadly. I'm telling you that the key to our survival is that kid's sister. And I need you to play that card.
Mags will walk up to Gideon and say, look, I don't agree with Aiko most of the time, but he does have a good thought here. I know you care about your sister. She's the only link, though, that we've got to their motive. Any heartstring you can pull go a long way.
I think Gideon will just sigh and be like, I don't think she really wants to talk to me. I don't blame her. But if you think it's a good idea, I can try.
Remember an emotional moment, something she can't refuse. Bring that forward and see.
Aiko is actually going to run over to Gideon as he overheard this. He's going to pull up on his data pad some of the pictures he took while he was on Baxter's Reach, proving that Gideon had gone back for his sister. And he's going to hand that to her.
What's all this, Echo?
I heard you talking to your sister about whether you went back or not. This is photos from when we went back.
Okay. 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 I guess Gideon will kind of take the data pad and just kind of walk up to Leanna if she's not super pissed at him still.
See, the others have started scrambling through the mud to try and gain entry to the ship, and she's the last one. You just kind of catch her before she follows them.
And Gideon will kind of go up to her and be like, "Hey, are you sure this is a good idea?"
Diana turns and looks at you and says, I have to do this.
Okay, I'm not stopping you. I know you trust Frank, and I know you say he helped you. I really don't trust him, and I don't want you to get hurt. Okay? Or will you? I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I just. What if I come with and lend a hand? I don't want to lose you again, okay? Oh God, not again.
You really want to come?
If it'll make you happy, and it means I can at least keep you safe and out of trouble, then okay.
What I want.
Okay, I see that.
You can see Frank poke his head out from the darkness, the cavity beyond this lift door that's just kind of propped open a little bit. He says, come, Sister Liana. And Liana turns back to you and holds her hand out.
I think Gideon will take her hand and follow her.
I need you to make a mobility check for me, please, Gideon.
It's the one thing I'm good at. Thank you.
All right. It is treacherous climbing up the side of the ship with the mud and the fallen branches and the vines, but you managed to find your footing and successfully enter the ship. As the darkness swallows up Frank, the devotees, including Liana and Gideon, the rest of you outside.
Is there any other part of the ship that broke that we could access? Or is it all still combined together? Like, is there a mangled?
All the top two decks are crushed. There's no other entrance into the ship other than that little crack from the ramp that's been warped open from the impact.
Otmar scavenging for parts that he could use.
Go ahead and make a heavy machinery for me, Otmar. Oh man, you guys have been rolling poorly tonight. All right. So it's going to take you a little bit of time because most of this ship is just a pile of twisted metal and wreckage. But you'll be able to find something useful, something that might help the Wicket if you are able to transport it back.
Yeah. Or maybe fabricate a new zapper.
There you go. Yeah, well, we can apply that extra success to a success on your zapper if you like. right, I go south.
So how many successes would you need to get in the ship?
Get into this ship, you will need at least 2 successes on a mobility check.
I think South doesn't like Gideon going by himself unarmed. So South is going to try to follow.
Aiko doesn't want to go in the ship, but he likes the idea of more people getting intel on what's in there. So can I give him a +1, kind of like I'm gonna like lift his leg up and help him
Sure.
get onto the ship?
Yep, give yourself +1 south.
Oh, well, I guess
Jesus
there was one
Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
that rolled.
All right.
Well, you shouldn't be.
Ah.
Your panic should have been at 0.
No,
No, he has 3 stress
Could-
already.
I didn't roll the
Oh,
plus
for your
one.
nightmares. Oh shit.
Oh, and I
Could
can't
I use my
push because of
successes to
the.
help him since he's
Just
come
roll
down.
1d6. Go ahead and roll 1d6 south to see if this is a success. Oh my god, you do it. But unfortunately, you needed 2 successes.
Could I use one of my successes to help him out? I got 4.
Yeah. If you like, you can see South trying to scramble in after you. And at the very last moment, when you see South about to lose his step and slide all the way back down, Gideon, you're able to reach out with the hand and come up. So the rest of you, Altmar, you're scavenging. Leonard and the guard are just kind of standing off to one side, grumbling, talking to each other. You can just hear him saying, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Just be ready for anything when they come out. Gideon. It is dark in here. But you can see Liana with her headset kind of has the little beams on her helmet to light the place up. So do the other 2 devotees. And so you can see their flashlight kind of headsets kind of lighting the way ahead of you in this twisted corridor filled with debris. It's kind of awkward because it's upside down. So you walk on the roof and the metal's kind of caved in areas with earth and mud and tree branches kind of crashing in. So you're kind of weaving your way down and into the bowels of the ship. I'm going to have you make an observation check, Gideon. Sorry, South, you can do so as well. You each gain 1 stress because you succeeded on your observation rolls. Because as you are crawling through these corridors, you can see the twisted, mangled, now rotting bodies of those who did not survive this crash litter this corridor. It seems like an eternity as you dive deeper and deeper. You seem to be climbing down into the earth as this ship seems half buried in the mud.
I'd like to think that maybe after Gideon helps South, South is going to hang back from the group just to keep an eye on things from afar.
So you're following, trying to not lose sight of your sister and wherever they're going. South, you kind of hang back at the entrance.
I'm
this point?
following them in, but I'm just kind of hanging back, just
Okay.
keeping an eye on everything.
If you hang back too far, you are going to be in pitch black.
The suits don't have. Oh, that's right, because Gideon is following theirs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm I'm hanging back just far enough where I can see them. I'm maybe, I'll say 10, 15 foot behind Gideon, maybe. Not super far, but just far enough where I don't want Frank to realize that maybe Gideon helped me get into the ship.
Megs, I just wanted to double check with you. Um, Gideon and South went into the ship. Otmar is scavenging around the outside. Leonard and the guard are off to one side, muttering to one another. Is there anything Megs would like to do while all these folks up here have gone inside the ship?
Mags is keeping a close eye on Leonard. Staying off to the side, though, watching Leonard.
Okay. Go ahead and make an observation check for me, Megs. You see Leonard, as he's whispering and talking in hushed voices with the guard, looking up at the opening that everyone else kind of crawled into. I can hear muttering, "I don't like this at all. Get ready for anything when they come out." And as you watch them, you can see kind of um, Leonard is standing on something. It looks like a piece of paper, kind of half buried in the mud. He doesn't seem to notice it himself.
Mags might wait for him to move before going to have a look at what that paper is.
All right. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me to see if he moves. On a, I'll say odds he moves, evens he just stands there, pulls out a cigarette, and odds he moves. All right. So you can see them shuffle off to one side a little bit, and you can clearly see there's a piece of paper with some writing stuck in the mud.
She'll pick it up and try to read it.
You find a note. Let me show it. I don't know if you can read that. I'll I'll read it out. My devoted children, we have finally found our masters, our rulers, our gods, and all we now seek to become one with their purity. They generously accepted our gifts, those who gave of themselves so willingly to create these gifts are now shining their happy souls upon us from eternity. We must help our masters in everything they do, in pursuing their dreams. You bring yourself closer to their unique perfection. Go out, bring the people into our fold, find what we need, and you will be rewarded with the highest prize there is. Until then, remember the writings of our lost grand seer, Kenneth Ruin? I don't know what this handwriting is awful. That tell us of the undiscovered Nephilim, the immortal fallen gods whose touch is all around us, of the blessed destroying angel, of the what? Of the muck?
That
Of the
music?
music. Of the
Music?
music that stirs their hearts and can move worlds. And whilst we now pursue the perfection of our masters, never forget where they and the angels and we come from, all distant cousins under the majesty of the Nephilim. Signed Mother Michaela. And on the back, you see scribbled intact nav computer and data compression coil compression catalyzer, secondary generator buffer, fractal conduits in line, fuel suppressors, load sharing units, all purpose wiring, and relay connectors. Anything else looks useful. That's what you find. And Gideon, inside, it seems like forever as you wind your way through these corridors filled with the dead and debris. But it does seem cooler down here. And you can see the others take off their helmets. The gas doesn't seem to have made its way into these depths of the ship. And air is cooler against your skin. And you realize you are now at the cargo hold of this ship. And inside, you see it half caved in, half of it covered in mud, and you can see, like, I don't know if it's trees or roots just kind of winding their way halfway through this hold, and a number of wooden crates. You can see Frank opening crate after crate. Some of them are empty, and as they find them empty, he just hurls them across the room in a burst of strange anger or frustration. You see another one that is crushed by a fallen bulkhead, and inside it looks like there's something that has been crushed, something organic. You see like ooze kind of spilling from it, and you can see that ooze. You remember this distinctly. Looks like that ooze in that factory, that neuroplasm factory that's just kind of ate through the metal like acid. And then there's one final intact box. Frank pulls it out reverently. The other three devotees are standing around him, their head beams shining on this crate as he opens it. And inside you see one of these pods. The same pods that you saw in that factory. And he gently pulls it out. This strange squishing noise as it does so, and he puts it on the floor. And he motions for Leanna to come forward.
And Gideon's just gonna really quickly just kind of grab her wrist and be like, that's the same stuff from Baxter's Reach. Know that right? That's the same stuff that this is the beetle things, right?
She looks at you and says, "You promised, Gideon."
Did? I'll break that promise if it means you're gonna die.
I'm not going to die. I'm going to become immortal.
I
Like my
don't,
sisters, like our sisters.
I don't think that's how that works. This stuff, I've seen it. It turned the lady practically inside out. It's not pretty.
You also do have the data pad with the first bit of information about the what it does to the blood. Just saying, it's in your hand.
And you see Frank and Sister Leanna. Your gift awaits.
Please don't do this, Lee. I get it. It's hard. I get it, but this isn't the way to go.
Voice. You said you would respect it.
I did, but I didn't think you were just gonna be throwing everything away like that. This isn't right, and you know it.
Just want to be with our sisters.
I do too. I get that. Not like this. This is the same stuff that killed. It's the same stuff that killed Sophie. Please don't do this.
Frank stands behind this egg sack, and you can see the other two devotees standing there with hands on their pistols. And Frank extends one hand. Sister, it's time to accept your gift.
Hmm.
And that's where we're going to end.
Okay, I was about to say. I think South is going to shoot the pod.
All right, we'll pick it up there. I don't know if we're on next week. I think we're taking a week off. I'm not sure. Just let me double check the calendar.
I think we're on next week, and then we have like 2 weeks off.
That's
think.
right. That's what it is. Okay, thank you. So we'll see you back here in a week. All right. Bye, folks.
Later, all.